What up, everybody? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Off the Record. We love Off the Record, and every single week I am getting DMs and emails from people, and Off the Record is saving them from those pesky points on their license. That's right. If you get pulled over for a moving violation, don't plead guilty. Get Off the Record. Go to offtherecord.com/TST. We used to have a code for the app. Don't use the code anymore. The code's no good. We're not using it anymore. It's all web now. Offtherecord.com/TST. That's where it all goes down. If you get a moving violation, big, small, or in between, do not plead guilty. Get Off the Record. Offtherecord.com/TST. All right, folks, it is a Carew show today. Zach and I are talking about the Turbo Classic study by Singer that we drove last week. Yowza, this is a real treat. Plus, we are debating how people feel when a car is listed at auction by the owner directly or versus by a third-party service like we offer at WCCS. We also have some absolutely amazing Patreon questions. And man, this one went by so fast. This is a great episode. It's a Carew show, the Smoking Tire Podcast. It's time. Let's go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the program today. Hello, everybody. This is the Smoking Tire. Best radio on radio. You know what I'm saying?
Radio show about radios.
Yeah, and today we're talking about.
Now you sound like RFK Jr.
yeah. Today it's about vaccines.
The origin of the Porsche GT3.
Oh, yours is good. You've watched. I try to not watch RFK things because I don't want to get dumber.
Right.
You have to watch a lot to get that. Do the impression. That's pretty good. You have to watch a lot to get that good an impression. You don't watch it once.
Thanks for having me on. So my favorite car to strap dead animals to
that's fucking
is the Taycan because of the long roof.
That's fucking really good.
Germ theory is not proven unless you look at actual science.
God, I'm so sorry for how many videos of him you've probably had to watch in order to get that good at it.
I don't know. Not that many, but his is just act like you're sitting on a cement mixer, I think. And that's what it is.
Have you done that? Have you done that publicly yet?
No.
Oh,
this
wow.
is the reveal.
Oh, God, that's fucking
but
great.
But Elon's hard.
Print that.
Elon is a hard. I can't. His is weird. It's like Canadian and South African and British, and then there's like these weird pauses and stuff.
Plus, like, it's hard to make anything come out of your mouth that's that stupid.
I can do that. I say dumb things all the time.
Okay, there's a lot of things happening. There's so many things. The most important thing that's happening is that I have to say thank you to all of our plumbers, because a couple weeks ago on the show, I mentioned something about, and fuck me, are there a lot of plumbers who listen to this shit.
Nice.
Hundreds,
it's a good
my
trade
friend,
job.
Hundreds of emails and DMs offering plumbing advice, which... and it really varied. Let me just say that it very much varied, the plumbing advice. And I really broke it down into sort of three major, there were variations on three major themes. One was like the controller of, for those who have no idea what I was talking about, before I even tell you the little short version of what I'm talking about, do not DM me or email me. We have a quorum. My wife does research for a living. We have enough to write a survey, okay? Like, my wife could prepare a 15 to 20 page presentation for a college class on the possible issues with our plumbing, our shower temperature, based on the advice of however many plumbers fucking wrote us. Yeah, it's either the cartridge, which is the thing inside the temperature knobby, that could be regulating poorly, or there's the hot water. It's like a loop. It goes to the shower and back, and then it eventually some of it will come off that loop and then into your, like an exit ramp on a highway. Yeah, like LAX Oval going to terminals, etc. is kind of how my hot water system works. And like the return line, where it makes a U, there could be a valve in the return that could be fucked up. or there's a check valve of some kind at the water tank. I'm not qualified to further investigate any of those issues, but we have a plumber coming with the results of the survey of the 100 plumbers of what could the problem be, and said plumber will professionally investigate those possible issues. It doesn't. So anyway, you guys can stop emailing me, but thank you and shout out to all the plumbers out there, truly doing the Lord's work. If you are willing to just be in and around poo.
Dude, they're elbow deep in poop and money. I mean, you can make a really good living.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. And I know because I've had to pay them.
You are on the other side of that. Yeah.
I put this
your wave runner.
I've put these plumbers through college, but even the one.
The irony.
Yeah,
right.
Even the only ones who can pay for the college are the plumbers who want their kids to go to college, who are then going to, you know what I mean,
right?
And cycle.
Yeah.
But yeah, doing the Lord's work. So thank you to the plumbers. Shout out to them. But speaking of crowdsourcing information, I was on Reddit this morning, and I saw a post that was like. There's a lot of in the cars and bids versus bring a trailer debate. There's lots of cars and bids, bring a trailer, both like from a perspective of like the sellers and the buyers. Where's the best place to buy? Where's the best place to sell? Which one is? There's really a lot of chatter about whose like business is doing better. There's a lot of chatter about like the characters on the various podcasts and whatnot.
Just the Bloods and Crips of the auto enthusiast.
But mainly they're always on the lookout for very similar cars that are live on both at the same time.
To see which one sells for more.
To see where we can get more money, right? And I understand that makes sense, right? Cars are investments. So it just so happens that Westside Collector Car Storage is listing one of the cars that's being debated about. It's the 10,800-mile BMW Z3.
Is it up now? Should I look at it?
You can look it up. Yeah, it's on Bring a Trailer right now. It's a slick top BMW M Coupe. It's a Z52, which is slightly less desirable than the S54 powered coupe. But there it is. This one has. It's listed as 11,000 miles. It's like 10,800 or something. We've had it in storage for 2 years. The owner bought it on Bring a Trailer and is 6'4", so he doesn't fit in it. He drove it twice. He tried to love it.
Okay.
Doesn't fit in it. And then he kind of forgot about it for a little while because he's got a bunch of cars with us. And then he's asked us to help him sell it. So here it is again. I mean, it looks like an 11,000 mile, BMW of the peak BMW era would look. It's fucking mint, right? And it's on old tires because it's been sitting in collections its entire life, right? And it doesn't have a lot of service records because it's been sitting in collections its entire life. But it's unbelievably, spectacularly clean, right? And if it was going into a big collection, it would need nothing. If you wanted to start driving it a bunch, you'd probably have to do a service and get some new tires, right? But otherwise, it's a fabulous car.
Sure.
Okay. So it's a true collector grade car. And there's another one on Cars and Bids right now that I think is a different color. And I truth be told, I didn't actually look at the car on Cars and Bids because it wasn't about me understanding. I don't care which would get more. I just read the comments in it, and one of them, the only reason I'm even talking about it right now is not to promote this listing. It's because one of the commenters said that, like, in the Reddit post that, and this, I'm not one of the commenters. This is the other one.
This is the other one, I guess, because the only one that's live on Cars and Bids. But this is 42,000 mile, 2001, and it's what, Phoenix Yellow?
But it's Phoenix Yellow, so it's in a very rare color. It also has a Dynon front plate on it, which may indicate it has some Dynon bits on it.
Like carbon center console. So this is a little dressed up. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe this is a nicer specification, but with 4 times the mileage.
Right.
But it's a close enough comp that it became a thread on Reddit. But the point was, we at WCCS are a Bring a Trailer local partner. So you can bring us your car, and we all in one, you drop it, and we handle your listing for you. We do it for a flat fee. Other people take a commission, whatever. But the commenter said, well, this sale is being repped by a third party, meaning the black one, and therefore the owner doesn't want to stand here and represent the car himself, implying there was something to hide, as opposed to and what was interesting to me was I was thinking about, like, is that a pervasive opinion? Like, yes, this is one guy on the internet. Right. And one guy on the internet could say any number of stupid things and does regularly with authority.
There was no autism 100 years ago.
Right. But, like, I would genuinely like to know, like, if you're a bidder out there, and leave a comment in the video or whatever, if you bid on cars on any auction site and the car is being represented by a third party, be it a dealer or a service like ours, which is listing a car on Bring a Trailer or Cars and Bids takes about 20 hours. Like, if you're doing, like, you want to detail the car, you want to photograph it in a good place at a good light, you want to organize the service records, you want to do the listing, bless you. You want to manage that listing throughout the process, you want to deal with the post-sale paperwork exchange, all that kind of stuff. You're looking at 20 hours. That's how long it takes. We've run 50 auctions. That's what it takes. Okay. If you're like a person with a fucking job, you might want to pay someone else to do that, right? And that makes total sense to me.
If you do it as an individual, do you have to submit everything to these auction sites, and they say we need more information on this and this and this? Like, are there specific requirements they want? The length of the post. Okay, so there's a lot.
It's not length of the post. There's, like, the number and type of photos.
Sure.
There's you need to do the front and the back of the title. You need to scan all the service records and redact that. You need to answer it's like an 8-page. You don't write the listing; they write the listing.
But you fill out the form.
You fill out like a questionnaire that, depending on the car, please list the complete service history of the vehicle. Well, that could be nothing and take 30 seconds, or that could be,
for me, that's a couple Bibles.
That could be a lot. I mean, holy hell, you could be there all day doing that.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it's just, that's how much, on average, that's how much time it takes. So, like, to me, it's a no-brainer that you might at least consider hiring a third party to do that for you if you're busy, right? But I'd like to know if on the other end of that, you're a bidder, prospective bidder, you see a car listed by a third party and you go, there's something wrong with that. That to me is weird.
I think, like, I didn't know that they had this 8-page questionnaire. I know that all the listings on BAT or Cars and Bids always looked the same. So it felt like, that's why I asked, is there a volume of text you need to submit?
You write no text.
Right, but you answer a questionnaire. So that's why there's always a similar amount and similar things covered in all of these listings.
Yeah, that is by design.
So I think if people don't know that, that might help them feel more comfortable in that if an owner gives this to a third party or does it themselves, they're probably going to be presenting basically the same information for your average seller.
Yeah, and Bring a Trailer and Cars and Bids both have policies that deliberately avoid many superlatives. You can't say things like mint condition. And if you say there's a small ding on the hood from an Acorn, the listing will say there are dings on the hood. Like, you have to go in the comments as the seller and do your best to, like,
it's hard to get away with shit.
Well, it's like they just try and go, look, either there are no dents or there are dents. We don't distinguish between a big one and a small one. We're not going to be the arbiter of where that line is.
Right.
Either there are scratches or there are no scratches. Either that, you know what I mean? So I actually think it's, as annoying as that is, and as it can feel as a seller sometimes, like, where you go, oh, it's such a minor thing. And they go, well, we have to apply this rule to everybody. The rule is there or not there, not big or small. And then you have photos and whatever. You could explain in the comments as the seller, oh, that's there because an acorn fell on it and not because I threw a hammer at it, or whatever. But I genuinely would like to know, because it to me it doesn't really make much of a difference as a buyer either. I've bought cars. Oh.
I think if the buyers get the information they want, and then the next question I would have is, how engaged is the third party in the comments when people ask questions?
And what's actually what's incredibly funny about this specific comment about this specific auction is that I am an incredibly engaged seller because it's my job. As professional as possible, I do engage. Even the criticism I engage professionally. On top of that, the guy who owns the car is in the fucking comments too. We're both in the comments together. And this person, says, oh, this listing, it's a third party. This guy's trying to hide something. And both seller and the third party are engaged professionally.
Yeah. I think that's why this is a good thing to ask the wide audience is, do you feel the way of this one person?
Yeah.
Or do most people go, no, it's fine. Like they're both in there. And this could be someone who isn't actually involved in that many auctions. They're just assuming that that's what the seller's doing, and they're actually not that informed.
That side of our business, the concierge program for auctions, is growing faster than the rest of it. I mean, granted, both buildings are full,
right?
So
Like
without more square
cars
footage, there's limited amount we can do.
But it's the fact that people they like that.
The volume of inquiries and auctions are going. We have another one that's starting in a couple of days. That's the Mercedes S65 Final Edition with 1,200 miles on it. That's an awesome car.
I wonder, is there a market, or are there companies that do this for people that aren't? That concierge is not attached to an existing business. Like, are there sellers where you go, I pay you?
Well, there's dealers. There's bring a trailer dealers.
Okay.
And they do it they'll do consignment. Wob is the biggest one. Rob Dietz is his name. But he's here. He's here in LA. He was doing the race cars. Pete's cars.
Right.
That was all through Wob.
Okay.
Yeah, there's and our buddy Doug over at Switch Cars, he's running cars on bat all the time. Paul Kramer's running cars on bat. Shout out to Auto Kennel here in LA.
I meant there'd be like I'm an individual. I want to sell my M3. You're not a dealer like Paul, or you're not someone who takes in cars, drives them, cares for them, refurbishes them, and then sells them. You're just a person who goes, I will help you sell this thing on BAT.
You have to be approved.
Got it.
So you can't just like sign up and like be a partner. So you could set up a concierge business in your town. There's nothing that would stop a person from doing that. And we at WCCS were selling cars on both Cars and Bids and Bring a Trailer before we were official partners. Cars and Bids just announced their official partner program. We're going to be an official partner with there as well. But in the case of both Bring a Trailer and Cars and Bids, the fact that we were already running this other business here was such a no-brainer. I don't know what the interview process. Both of them were interviews, by the way. They were both on-site interviews, even though like I'm a known person, this is a known place. There were interviews with the CEOs in both occasions. Okay. So, and I don't know if that's the same as for everybody, but I doubt you could be a verified seller, trusted partner, whatever terminology the sites choose to use. I'm blanking on the exact names right now, but whatever they choose to use, you have to be approved.
Well, we have some of our Patreon members who get things like ad-free shows and early access to stuff. I'd say 60% of them are saying, I don't care if it's a third-party seller. I just assume, like Dan McInnes says, I just assume that the person selling the car knows this company will be better at it, or they don't have the time.
Sure.
But someone else says, I'm a multiple-time BAT seller and buyer. I prefer talking to the owner. If the owner truly loves their car, they will want to talk about it themselves. If it's a commodity to them, they will consign it.
Guys, we got to take a quick break from the action for DeleteMe. I love DeleteMe. I'm a proud DeleteMe user. Whether it's phishing, spam, emails, texts, solicitations on your phone, your data is out there and it is being used to exploit you. right? To call you, to harass you, to try and sell you stuff, because we have all, as a society, basically traded our privacy for convenience. We shop online, we sign up for apps, we sign up for memberships, discounts, services, and then they take that data and data brokers sell it, right, to other people who just use it to bother you with stuff, right? And so DeleteMe is a service. It's fantastic. It's not a one-time service. It's an ongoing service. They can protect your personal privacy or the privacy of your business from doxing attacks before sensitive information can be exploited, from phishing, from spam calls, spam texts, etc. Maybe you've been a victim of identity theft, right? If not, you certainly know someone that DeleteMe can help. I signed up for DeleteMe, and here's what happens. I put in my basic information as well as some past information about me, old addresses, jobs, etc. And then DeleteMe goes to work, finding instances of my data that's out on these data broker websites. Some of it DeleteMe can automatically get rid of. Some of it I have to fill out some extra paperwork and they bring it back to me. And some of it I have to take a little further action. But every month, DeleteMe sends a report saying what they found, where they found it, and here's what I can do to get rid of it if they can't get rid of it on their own. It's really good. It's a great service. And it's, again, not one time. It's ongoing. And I have a special discount for you. You can take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for DeleteMe at a special discount for our listeners. Get 20% off your DeleteMe plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/tire and use promo code TIRE at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/tire and enter code TIRE at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/tire, code TIRE. You got it? Good. And thank you to DeleteMe for sponsoring this episode of the podcast. Folks, got to take one more quick break for Cremo. This stuff is the best. If I'm having a little bit of a stinky day, a little bit of a sweaty day, and look, it's been hot out here in LA. I've been up on the mountain early in the morning. So on days when we film, I take the car, I leave my house at 6 a.m., I go up to the mountain. I then have to crawl all over the car to get the beauty shots and the details. I've got to mount the cameras on the car, and I'm stressed out because I'm trying to think about what I have to do with the car, and I'm putting cameras away. I'm getting in and out of the car, setting up camera, taking the camera out, set up, taking it out, in, out, in, out. Let me just tell you, I love my job, but I get sweaty. And then when I'm done with that, I have to go back to the office. I don't go home and shower first. The second half of the day happens doing this show, etc. Cremo is here for me. Their deodorant is designed to provide men with 48-hour odor protection. I'm glad I don't need 48 hours of odor protection, but it's there. I also put on 45-hour sunscreen, even though I'm going out in the sun for 2 hours. Cremo's products are barber grade and made with pride, professionalism, and passion to guarantee you quality without compromise. They've got 2 new signature scents, the Italian Bergamot, it's bright, fresh, and robust, and the Palo Santo, it's deep, smoky, and refined. I do like the Palo Santo. I've been carrying that one. I threw it in the car when I went to film the 911 GTS this morning, and then I freshened up on the way back, and I am feeling it. I like their moisturizer too. They sent me a nice moisturizer that's good for my elbows throughout the day. Cremo's good stuff. You deserve good quality grooming products from a company with high standards. I smell good. I'm not sweaty throughout the day, and I can have a whole bit of work in the morning, and nobody has to know. Cremo also offers a wide range of other grooming products for men, including shaving cream, beard oil, and shampoo, so you can find your favorite scent and buy the whole body care line. Head over to Target or Target.com to find Cremo's new line of antiperspirants and deodorants in the Italian Bergamot and Palo Santo scents. Once again, check out Cremo at Target or Target.com.
So,
man, that's. But
there's 3 other people that are on, that are on the side of not really caring.
I mean, look, I think if the owner wants to talk about it themselves, I think that in the case of that one criticism, the owner personally being involved in the comments may assuage that criticism.
Sure.
But the fact is, if you go, hey, I don't have time for detailing and I'm not good at photography, let me find someone to do that. And I don't. And by the way, I have a job, and I don't have time to like show this car to people, you know. Or I don't want to meet people. I don't want. I'm a woman. I don't want people coming to my house. I don't want to meet strangers. There's a great way to offload this responsibility onto a professional. I'm not saying this person isn't entitled to their opinion, but I just think it's really unfair to a seller to say that they're dispassionate and it's a commodity just because they think a professional would do a better job of selling it.
Yeah, I think there's too many variables.
Maybe that's the person who wrote the Reddit comment. I don't know.
I just think there's too many variables. Like you pointed out, all of them. I don't need to go through them again. There's just a lot of reasons why someone might do things one way or another way. And to assume that it's a binary decision of like, oh, no, this is because they don't like their car, that's just kind of too reductive.
The flip, like you should see how people talk about individual sellers that like aren't good at being individual sellers. It's like the same way I talk about people that aren't good at going through the airport security. Like it's like that. Like so there's people who are like, well, a professional, no, they're hiding something. I want to hear from the person. But if they don't hear enough from the person or they don't hear the right things from the person, then they're like, oh, you've got something to hide. And it's like, dude, I'm doing my best here. I don't know how this works.
Yeah. There's some. I was shopping for chairs last week on Facebook Marketplace and OfferUp and stuff. I ended up buying one just from a store because I could have saved some money. But to your point, some of the people were answering with 3 words, and I needed 50. Some of them weren't responding. Some of them were responding. Whatever. It's just like a person's ability to communicate all the different little bits about their car, especially if you remove that questionnaire, it could vary wildly. So having them in the comments be able to answer those questions that are directly about the ownership experience, I think they need to be there. Yeah. But anything that's about like records and stuff, if it's factual information, to me it doesn't matter if the third party company is giving me that information or the owner's giving me that information. Yeah, it's something that really surprised me. That sentiment does surprise me because like I think understanding your limitations as a person in not, maybe you're not doing the car. Imagine this car we're looking at on the screen, this Phoenix yellow. It's on Cars and Bids right now. Imagine how that car would look if it was being photographed badly. Oh, the consistency of photos on any of these websites. I mean, having that standard has been so good just for the car buying community.
But this car in particular looks like it was shot by a pro or at least somebody with a lot of experience
and a good camera.
And but this color, if it was being shot by a fucking nobody, someone inexperienced with an old phone, this color could look like shit.
Definitely.
But captured right, it looks beautiful. Cassis red, frozen berry metallic, same fucking thing. So if you've got these,
this was like
wow, he went into the grass with this one.
Look at the shadow. I mean, this was shot at like golden hour.
Yeah, no, this is a beautiful photo shoot. Who fucking shot this? Hire this guy. I don't know who shot this, but wait, look at the license plate. Is this car in California? Where is this car? Where's that tag? Yep, California. Oh, it's a dealer tag too. So they got an in-house. Who's the seller? Do we recognize it? Is this someone here? Oh, it's in Sacramento.
Exclusive Studio Garage.
Okay, it's up in Sacktown. But they must have got some rain because it's beautiful. It's the best photographed car that's on there past, okay, whatever. That's a beautifully photographed car. That would make a difference if you can pay for that kind of thing. So anyway, we don't have to spend more time on this, but thanks live audience for chiming in and leave a comment. It's weird. Let's move on.
I would want to be able to ask the owner questions when I'm bidding on it, but I don't care about if the dealership is presenting the car and all that stuff. I don't give a shit. The dealer won't tell me if they clutch kicked it, but the owner might.
Yeah, and also I don't think it's for the audience to distinguish the difference between a car that's been consigned to a dealer and a car that's being represented by a concierge service like me.
That's true. I mean, that's kind of a challenging thing, like that one we just showed, or this one. I mean, that their profile page says like we're a dealer. Yeah. So they're selling this car. Yeah. They're not selling it on behalf of somebody.
Yeah, we're listing a car and managing the listing on behalf of a private seller. I don't think the audience sees a real distinction there, but there is one. Anyway, should we talk about the Singer Turbo? Because we never actually talked about it on the podcast. The video is up. Video's doing well. True to roof. Getting the numbers. Look at our thumbnail there. Oh, boy, is that fabulous Photoshop work, Clapman. Clapman risked a horrible back injury to drive this car. I've actually been fortunate enough now to have driven two different ones. My pal Sam's car, which is a luxury one, as well as this one, which is the lightest possible sporty one. You can get it in either configuration. This one had the bucket seats, rear seat delete, the roll bar, harness bar, as well as the bare metal painted interior bits around the back.
The one you drove, which people can see on your Instagram, had like
leather
amazingly
everywhere.
Intricate leather door cards. I mean, just to start there, they were really gorgeous.
Yeah, these door cards, the lighter ones with the tartan stuff, like they're fine. They're not the highlight of this car for me, but they're in line with the design and they look good. The leather ones with the luxury spec look amazing.
They're it's like scalloped leather.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
In fact, I'd probably, even if I did want the bucket seats, there it is. I'd still probably want the leather door cards. I have a photo of
Look
the.
at
Yeah,
this. Holy moly.
Yeah, that door card is exceptional.
Yeah.
And also I talked to Maz, who was on our podcast. Go listen to that on the Willow Springs one. I talked to Maz after we went home, and he said, now you've driven both, you understand the difference in NVH. When people ask us to make the lightest one possible, all that gravel, all of the little creaks of the suspension, like that painted bit in the back, that's raw metal to the other side. Like there's a coating on it, but like that's it. Like rear seats and these power seats absorb, and the door cards absorb so much noise that even if the engine sounds exactly the same, the experience inside the car is like wildly different. He said he talks like a lot of people out of getting the light one because they instinctivly go, give me the lightest one. I want the lightest one. And he goes, do you really?
They should ride in both if they can. Because, I mean, it was not as loud as like the Guntherwerks car inside.
No.
But there were, people heard it in the video. You could hear a lot of the road noise and the little rocks flying up and stuff like that.
And also, by the way, you can see them. There's the harnesses that they were using for track work were dangling from the harness bar. So those clank a little bit. And then I call it out on myself in the video. Did you leave it in?
I did.
You left it in, right?
Yeah,
I'm like just fat enough to like bow out the seat a little bit, which then rubs on the center tunnel. Just a little bit.
Like rubbing over here?
Yeah,
okay.
It rubs just there enough to make like the squeaking sound.
Yeah.
And if I like sucked in my gut, it stopped in the video.
Really?
Did you hear that?
I heard you say that. I wasn't sure which part of the car. So people were
it's the inside by where the seat belt is.
Because I think something that happens with these things is if someone likes the really light car, and that's what they would get. They see our video and they go, "That's cool. You can hear the road. All these things."
Yeah.
If they're more of a leather person, if they're into leather, they go, "Well, why is this car so expensive but so loud on the road? That's ridiculous."
Yeah.
You go, it's cool that you can spec it how you want.
Yeah.
But you can't have both.
I would get the leather one because it is just so pleasant to drive. I would want to drive it all the time, and the added weight of the interior would not detract from the perceived level of performance without a stopwatch. Mm-hmm. But what did you think about driving it?
We need to sell a lot more T-shirts.
Yeah, that's the problem.
It is. It's great. Like, I think sometimes you meet a hero car and it doesn't really live up to what you expected. This definitely lived up to what I was expecting and then exceeded some of that. And people can watch the video for like direct driver feedback stuff, but it's the right amount of speed, but not too much. The steering feel is amazing, and it's It's light enough but heavy enough.
Steering wheel
The steering
is amazing.
wheel.
The
Both
steering
of us,
wheel.
we didn't talk about that before we drove, and
Yeah.
then we both came back and independently were like, "Is that the best steering wheel we've ever touched?"
It is actually the most perfect steering wheel that I've ever used.
There's like the dish angle of the interior carbon fiber where your thumb lands.
Click over to the photo. There's a photo of it somewhere, right?
And
Don't we have the dash photo?
I was too zoomed in.
Damn it! The one of Sam's car has it.
Maybe
It's probably there. Nope.
shifter.
Fuck. The one there. Sam's car's got it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a visual throwback to that early '80s SC and turbo 3-spoke that you got, but a much more modernized version of it that really works.
It's concave on the inside where your thumbs are, so your leverage is perfect.
Yeah.
But then the leather on the outside is not too soft, not too hard, and kind of sticky. So you have a great grip on the wheel. Like Alcantara is the dumbest thing to get on a steering wheel compared to stuff like this.
Yeah. Arling down at R Strata heard our podcast and texted me. He was like, "Yo, hit me up. I'll make your wheel leather anytime."
Yeah,
the
I
Spider.
figured you should do that.
Well, no, I'm just gonna wear. I'll do it when it gets to. There's no reason to throw away something good. I'll use it, and then in a year or two, when I'm tired of it, I'll have them do it. But
you threw away perfectly good wheels when they were new, and an engine. What am I saying?
Wheels.
You threw an engine away.
The wheels are in a box downstairs, and I got another engine. I traded an engine. I didn't throw it away.
Well,
I traded it.
You could trade your steering
My
wheel.
wheels are downstairs.
Trade your steering wheel
For a what? For this?
for a leather one.
I, from my understanding, it is more expensive to get a new steering wheel than to have Arling rewrap.
What I'm
my
saying
steering
is,
wheel.
with your math, which I support, while I also fight against it at the same time, is you take the Alcantara off your existing steering wheel, have it converted to leather, keep the Alcantara in a box, and then you can put it next to your wheels, next to your engine, and you'd be like, no, I still have it. See, I figured it out.
I'll put it in like a present, like I'll press it like in between two bits,
Like a butterfly.
2 bits of Lex,
And then put it on your wall. This wrinkled Alcantara will look like an elephant circumcision. Yeah.
Also, support today comes from Aura Frames. You've heard us talking about them. They are the best. And Mother's Day is coming up. And what could be better than sharing your photos of your family, your life, your activities with your parents automatically, right? You could be the best gift giver in the family. The Aura Frame was named Best Digital Photo Frame by Wirecutter. It's easy to see why. It's unlimited storage, so you can dump photos, videos, and memes in there, whatever you want. It's so easy to set up. You plug in and share it away, right? You send the Aura Frame to your parents, to your kids, to your cousins, to your brothers, to your boss, to anybody. And then you just add photos from your phone or whatever to that frame, to an online Dropbox, basically, when photos go in there and then they get displayed slideshow format in the frame. Always new photos of the kids at grandma's house. It's a perfect gift for Mother's Day, and Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. For a limited time, listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off plus free shipping on their best-selling Carver Matte Frame. That's AURA frames.com. Promo code TIRE. AURA frames.com. Promo code TIRE. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. And now, back to the program. Or I could cut it up into like 10 TST keychains.
You can. You know who does that? Oh, is it Whistling Diesel?
Does he do that?
He like destroys cars and then shreds it and sells the jars for like $200.
Really?
I want to know how many he sells because
fun.
it's genius.
I think
if it
Rob
works.
Ferretti gives away bits of crashed cars.
Don't do that.
I think Freddie puts bits of broken cars in with his like merch
He does.
boxes.
Yeah.
Which we don't ship our own merch, so that would be kind of tough. But
Anyway, this car
back to the Singer Turbo.
is so amazing.
Yeah.
It just has all the refinement I would hope a $1 million plus car has.
Do you agree with me that you have absolutely zero sense that there was ever such a thing as a donor car when you're driving it? That a donor car does not actually exist? That's what it feels like to me. It feels like they have not restored an earlier car. It feels to me like they've built a completely new car, which is to me the kind of most special thing there.
I think there's nothing you see that, at least that I can even remember, that hadn't been changed. So I think I don't look at it and go, oh, I don't see a 911 donor car. I absolutely see a donor 911 because I know that that's how they're made. But every single thing I touched or looked at is different.
Yeah,
and that's great because we've driven some of these cars that are expensive, but they'll have like the same dash lower as the donor car, and it's sagging and kind of looks like it just looks okay. This, like, everything is done, and that's what I would want at this price point. And then that stood out. The brake pedal pressure is like perfect, not too firm, not too soft.
Well,
like,
that's the difference between the classic and the turbo. The steering feel and the brake pressure are enormously different. The classic, the brakes work really good, but it feels like an old Porsche with good brakes. This feels like modern brakes, but in a shape of an old Porsche. It's a completely different.
Yeah, these brakes, these are like the perfect modern brakes.
Yeah, it's like a Bosch ABS, it's an OEM level. I mean, this car, unlike the classics, which were built like hot rods, I mean, beautifully made with exquisite attention to detail, but designed and built like hot rods, one at a time. This, I went to their factory. This has a level of engagement that knocks a level of design, assembly, completeness that bumps right up on what OEMs do, or at least OEMs like Pagani and Koenigsegg, where you have your systems integration is done by Bosch, not by Motec. You know, you have a complete wiring harness that is developed just for this vehicle. You have complete body control modules and ABS modules and like your steering pump, all this stuff.
Did they not have that with the classic because you had to choose each of those systems individually when you order one?
It was just like they didn't have the scaled infrastructure to like do that kind of stuff. They were building hot rods. They were coach building essentially. They had classics have had like 5 different engine builders.
That's very true. Yeah,
you go there. It's like it was like 115,000 square feet. I saw 100 cars being built, and
the old one looks like 20. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe 20. Yeah.
It was like 20 bays, and those all could be a different part of the step.
Right.
Okay.
This is like there was 100 cars being built. I mean, it was huge. And it's a much more like integrated car, and it's intentionally designed so they can make more of them.
Yep.
Make them for less money each. They require slightly less specialized labor for each little bit of a thing. But fortunately, I mean, now driving them back to back and now driving 2 variants of the turbo, I don't think the product has suffered, frankly. I mean, it's a different product. It's not exactly the same car.
Sure.
But fuck me if it's not awesome.
I think the question I would have for you, because you've driven these 2 different specs, but the engines are the same and stuff, is do the cars feel the same but just with different interiors? Is there consistency there with brake feel, steering feel,
yeah.
Great.
Yeah, that's all the same. The engine sounds a lot different.
Just because of the insulation
Because
level?
of the amount of insulation. It actually is real crazy. It reminded me so much of when I drove my Ferrari 328 to Pebble Beach and I put noise-canceling AirPods in the whole way. It really just so I could listen to podcasts. But the noise-canceling headphones, all it let in were the very best Ferrari harmonics. It turns out it was spectacular. And I've driven other cars with noise-canceling headphones, and I've had the same effect. It sounds like it makes the car's perceived build quality go way up.
Turns the compression up a little bit. Everything just gets.
You don't hear any rattles or any imperfections. All you hear is just the beautiful engine frequencies. It's actually quite good.
I do that a lot in my car a lot, but now I worry that I'm not hearing something breaking.
And that's what it was like driving the one with the interior. It made it almost sound like the Carrera T.
Oh, okay.
It made it sound like a more modern car. Actually, the more I think about it, the more This engine in this Turbo Classic is very similar to the Roof Yellowbird engine, and Maz confirmed that. This is an engine it's twin turbo, but it's air cooled with air to water intercoolers.
Oh,
and
right.
It's a 3.6. This, and I drove it and I was like, Maz, the engine felt like the Yellowbird. He was like, yeah, it is like and it's 6 speeds. Wow. In this body shape, it's similar power output to the Yellowbird. Like basically, like it felt a lot like the Yellowbird. But with the interior, it sounds a little more modern. Without the interior, it sounds a little more gruff and old school.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't that loud in the car, but man, the little pops on downshift. If it was only one pop, it was perfect. It was just one rev, boom.
Yeah.
And then you're on your way.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
Just fast enough.
Yeah.
It's the right amount of speed.
2,900 horsepower? Or sorry, 2,900 pounds.
It's 2,900 horsepower. Yeah. That's the Gunther. That's the new Gunther.
It really
the
will
new
be.
Gunther. Peter is going to call me. I heard you talk about the Singer Turbo. I have a new car. It's 2,900 horsepower.
Yeah. It's like that devil thing that they made in Dubai for a week.
I put a turbine in a 993. Let's go.
It's a top fuel engine in the back. It's the right weight. It's the right amount of speed. It's so easy to drive around.
Yeah.
I mean,
light
they've
inputs.
Sorted everything out. Yeah. It's really, really good.
The real treat.
But I get what you mean. It feels OEM quality.
I think it feels more. I think the leather one, particularly Sam's, at 300 miles on it when I drove it. The white car we drove was a 5,000-mile test mule car that had been shipped around the world. Had the engine and the interior pulled out and in a million times. And that's not to say that there should be. I'm not making apologies for it, but like these are different cars. Like the brand new one that is delivered to the customer. That's what this blue one is. That's Sam's car. That's what the customer gets, not what the journalists are driving. Right.
Okay.
His car felt like there was no donor car. The smell of all of that leather, the shape of everything, the door cards, the solidness of all of it. There's no, all the upgraded finishes and all that kind of shit. You get in, you go, oh fuck me. There's and every bit, like the vent surrounds in the center, like the blinker stalks, like none of that shit is reused. None of it. There's nothing from the old car.
That's great.
And even in some of the other very high end ones, like there's bits that are like reused.
I mean, this is how they were able to scale because they got a bunch, investment money, and they've been doing this for a long time, which really helps. And it sounds like they've kind of instituted just more of an assembly line. Yeah. Use some Henry Ford technology, but that allows them to scale. And when you scale, your costs go down, and you can afford now to buy like all new blinker stocks, have them made or whatever from a supplier versus having to reuse them because ordering them for 1 or 5 cars a year is too expensive.
They said they have a warehouse with 250 donor 964s in it.
That are just waiting to be built.
Sitting there. Yeah. He said the ones that run, the employees like teach their kids to drive stick on them and shit. Because they're going to trash it all anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We should go down there. You should see it. It's fucking wild. It's you walk in, you're like, oh, I really
want to go because I saw the old place.
And now pull up the picture of the new car. Now we're talking about it. I didn't even put it together. They dropped a new car yesterday. They're basically.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to say they're following. That's an unfair word, but because we just drove the Roof SCR, which is the naturally aspirated version of the Roof CTR twin turbo, Singer has the Turbo Classic study, and now they're doing a naturally aspirated version of that's sort of inspired by that M491 wide body kit, which in the 80s you could get the turbo look, where you had a wide body like a turbo with a whale tail, but the naturally aspirated engine. Right. So of course, because Singer is good, it's a 4-liter engine, revs to 8,000, and it has an electric horizontal fan. So when we drove the Gunther Turbo with the horizontal fan, we learned it's a gear-driven fan, right? So on an air-cooled Porsche, the fan is vertical because it's driven off the belt. The race car horizontal fans are driven by the gear.
Right.
The horizontal fan is much more effective at cooling, but it's noisy.
Yes.
As we learned with the Gunther Turbo. Sidebar, Peter texted me this morning, had no idea we'd be talking about this on the show today, and said, "Did you see the new wing on the Gunther Turbo at Airwater?" I said, "I did." Giant fucking race car wing. He said, "We also have a new gear for the fan and a new tune. Will you take the car again and try it? No video or anything." But and I said, "Yes, of course, I will have a go." So they're working on reducing the noise of this fan.
Okay.
Which it's fucking loud because it's a 90-degree like a diff gear, right?
Yeah.
Singer's solution to the horizontal fan is to have an electric driven fan, which is actually super, super smart and super, super simple, and fucking props. Is there a photo of the engine? Because it looks unbelievably cool. The car looks great.
So good looking.
The car is clearly the similar vibe as the Turbo Study. So those fog lights in the middle, them's pop-ups.
I know, they're pop-up fog lights, which is...
Reverse pop-ups, dude. They flip out like a 928. The interior has a DLS-inspired exposed shift gate.
Which is rad.
The best.
I'm into it. More people, look at that. More people should do this.
Lotus does it.
Pagani does it.
Pagani does it. Yeah.
Did Spiker do it?
Well, Spiker just had the two rods.
Everything's exposed in a Spiker.
Spiker's the grandfather of it.
Where's the engine?
Why is no one showing the fucking engine yet? Where are we at here? Is it that one on the left? That's the one on the left. Must have it. Show us the engine. There. Oh, there. Finally.
Oh, it's like an angle.
It's not like if you develop that,
like an angled fan.
Yeah, it's on like a tilt.
Weird.
Yeah, but it does look crazy.
It looks like you'd call this a power unit. Like this looks like a turbine in the back of this car.
Yeah, it looks like some Rocketeer shit. Doesn't
really
it?
does.
Yeah.
It also looks like the engine is set far more toward the middle of the car than like the Gunther car. But maybe that's just the packaging. I don't know. Weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, look, if you've got an electric fan, you can place it anywhere.
Sure.
Right? It's not. You don't need a mechanical connection.
Right.
So and
the boot lid is at an angle, so
right.
you're pulling from those vents anyway.
So it's probably more effective to put the fan right up next to the intake and then just duct to the heads rather than having the fan that's in between the heads because that's where a gear has to go.
Right. Yeah. Good point.
It's co-developed with Cosworth. 4 valves per cylinder, variable valve timing, water-cooled cylinder heads, air-cooled cylinders.
Oh, yeah. It's their first engine that's variable valve timing also.
Fucking
Stuff's
nuts.
getting complex.
Shit's getting
real
done
complex
down there. So I'm pretty certain that by following the established formula of driving Sam's car when he takes delivery, and
did he order one of these?
Of course,
okay.
and then moving on to that. Pretty fucking sick.
Very very good looking.
Go watch the Singer Turbo Classics video. I don't have anything else to add that isn't in the video. I mean, it's just I think it's kind of unfair, like that Porsche can't do this. You know that Porsche, because I'd love to see a Porsche that's allowed to because they're a car manufacturer, they can't do this kind of stuff.
Except that there are car manufacturers that do this kind of thing, but it's like Bentley started reproing those old.
Well, they'd have to be
remember, like that is the only version of an OEM making a car from the past today, right? Like Aston did it. There's these companies that do it with really old shit.
Yeah.
But like the Bond DB4s, I think Aston started
Those are
repopping.
DB5s.
DB5s.
Yeah, they did a run
Jaguar
of them.
started doing it again.
They did some of the lightweight E-types. Yeah. They could do it in maybe some extremely limited numbers.
But you know what I'm realizing as I say this is all of those cars are basically handmade. And the cars, the 911s, were assembly line made, which is part of why the quality was so high. So I think you can't go back and reopen the old factory because the tooling is gone. That's why you can't do it anymore.
Right. But I think regulations globally would prevent Porsche from coming out with a car that's basically this.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. You have to call it old but new.
Yeah.
Or it would get very muddy.
Yeah, you have to if you scroll down in the copy of this post, does it have the crazy copy at the bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's got like all that shit at the bottom.
This is like
It's
150 words of Singer basically saying they're not affiliated with Porsche cars of the world.
Yeah.
And that's on every single Instagram post they have.
And I'm pretty sure we have to put that in our video, which is fine.
I should put that at the bottom.
Yeah, maybe we should. Maybe we should. They haven't said anything yet. So yeah, but that's a thing. I'm really stoked I got to finally drive that turbo though. It's very cool.
That was great.
It's a completely it's such a more modern thing than their classic builds and what a lot of other people are doing. The Gunther turbo is a different spur of the track. It's not that the turbo Singer. If I was fucking rolling in cash, that's a daily. That's a Los Angeles daily driver. Mm-hmm. Lots of miles, all over the place, every time I could. A Gunther turbo is a couple of times a month.
Hours. Yeah.
Couple hours, get the blood flow going, and
it's
then
tiring.
Yeah,
because of noise and adrenaline.
Yeah.
It is.
And then have somebody clean it and leave it in a glass box in your garage so you can just like stare at it every day the rest of the time. Yeah, it's too much for every day. This is an everydayer for sure.
Yeah, the Gunther is a race car.
Yeah,
basically. I mean, it has 800 horsepower and almost shoots fire. Like it's a race car.
And the roofs are incredibly special as well, but
they're closer to this.
They are, but they haven't sold me on something I'd like to drive every day yet. They're very special, but maybe because I've never really been in one with real comfort seats. I've always been in ones with these weird bucket seats that are really small and don't fit me right.
Oh, the yellow car that we drove in Miami, I think, felt as quiet and built to a level I'm sure I could drive it every day. It wasn't too fast. It didn't feel too noisy or, there's no creaky or anything like that.
No, that's
that felt
true.
Really high level and comfortable for me.
Yeah, it was comfortable. It wasn't, maybe it just wasn't like, I don't know, for a daily, it wasn't like fancy enough. It was a little more like streetable race car.
I think the interior was mostly just black.
Yeah,
right? I mean,
it was just very basic, which is fine.
There's less pomp and circumstance than there is with the Singer.
Yeah, a little more jewelry, a little more everyday jewelry is okay for me. This shit was especially luxury spec. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
that had like proper lumbar and.
Well, dude, Sam's car has all of the seat cushions are like two cushions. Each one has a stitch in it, which looks great.
Yeah.
But imagine if your bottom normally seats have two bottom cushions in sports seats. This has 8.
Yeah,
or 4. Sorry,
like
it has
individual 4. Little bits that you can have custom made.
So
it's very very cool. What else we got? I did buy a new computer. A lot of people advised on the new computer, the once every 5 years. I ended up getting, I hope it wasn't a mistake. I ended up getting just basically the new version of what I had.
Okay.
But what I had was a 13-inch Pro, which they don't make anymore. They only make a 14 now and like a 17. And the 14, it's beautiful. I got the black one. And it's pretty juiced up. It's going to get me through the next, but it is slightly bigger and therefore slightly heavier. And it's the first time in my life my new computer has been heavier than my old one.
Oh,
and I hope I don't.
Lighter and lighter for a while.
They've been getting really
funny.
lighter,
Yeah,
and now this one is the first one I've gotten that's heavier.
Yeah.
And I'm not, because I travel with it, I'm not sure if it's only marginally heavier. It's really not that much heavier. But for some reason, I really expected it to be lighter, and so I'm a little disappointed that it's not.
I think for a while, lightness was their goal, and at least that's why the MacBook Air and all those things. Yeah. Those had big heating issues, overheating issues, which caused slowdowns. I mean, it was really problematic for generations of MacBooks and Airs. So this is my anecdotal idea, is that they went away from that because people need the computers to work first and be light second.
Sure.
I think it'll be fine.
Especially if it's a Pro, I think they need it to work first and be light second.
My computer's kind of heavy.
Well, you have a big one.
It flies.
Yeah.
It needs to work, and it runs through footage quickly, and
Yeah, but my hedge against the weight being a problem is I'm not retiring my old computer. I'm cleaning it out of some things, and I'm going to leave it here at the office with my second screen. And that way I'm not having to lug a computer back and forth every day. I'll still carry the new one when I travel, but on a day-to-day, I'll have home computer, work computer.
Great.
And that's an equal and opposite benefit of the new computer being slightly heavier. I have to carry it less.
Yeah.
So anyway, update.
I think you'll be fine.
Thank you to everyone who advised me on why not to try to use an iPad Pro for this task.
But like you work out 6 days a week, like you'll be able to carry the computer.
Yes, I can carry the computer, but like, you listen, back management, right?
Very
back
true.
Management.
Very real.
Is very often I have to carry not just my computer, because here's the problem, and this is not a complaint. This is a reality of the job. I have to go to Europe. Okay, I have a tight connection in Charles de Gaulle to go on the 911 GTS launch in Europe. It's 3 days, 2 nights. Okay, I need to have my computer, clothes, right, and all the things that you need for travel, and my camera case. Okay, you're only allowed one rolling bag that fits in the overhead bin and one, quote, personal item. Now, that can be a backpack.
Right.
It can be a big backpack.
Like mine.
Yeah. But you're not allowed another bag. And I cannot risk going all that way and not having the fucking cameras. So am I going to check my clothes and my medicines and risk not having that? Am I going to? So no, I can't have a third bag. It gets real fucked up if I have to bring a helmet. So I have to have a laptop, all my electronics, and 3 days worth of clothes, toiletries, etc., on my back, plus rolling a pretty heavy camera case. It's like 30 pounds. It's 29 pounds. And not complaining, it's just how it is. So if I don't like the idea of the thing on my back going up in weight.
That's true. I do understand that. I usually check my clothes because I'll risk that, not the camera.
Sure.
Because I just don't want to. I don't want to have everything on my back because then it becomes too much weight unless you're using if you have like the waist belt thing.
Yeah, but 3 days of clothes
does.
is a funny amount to check. It doesn't seem like enough to
It doesn't.
justify.
Oh, no, the suitcase is definitely half empty.
Yeah.
But because I do the weight
Because of
management
this.
the other way, and I need to edit on the plane and dig out headphones, and I don't want to be like boxers, headphones. So I just check it and say, all right, it might not get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a dice roll, and it's happened before.
I have been so smelly on some press strips because my clothes didn't make it.
If it came down to it, I would sacrifice the clothes. If it came down to it, it gets real fucked up if you got to bring racing gear. Yeah. Now you've got
helmets don't fit in most suitcases.
No,
they don't fit in rollers.
Right. So now you need a suitcase that's big enough for a helmet, but that will also fit in the overhead bin. Best of luck to you, son.
No, Parker Kligerman said a lot of times when they'd fly back and forth between New York and Charlotte for NASCAR shit, it's just like a bunch of drivers with helmets on their lap because they don't fit in the overhead.
Yeah. Oh, God, it sucks. And a helmet bag is like the size of a purse, but if I've got my backpack and my cameras, guess what can't come on the fucking plane? Helmet bag is
it's way bigger than a
no-go.
purse. It's round. It doesn't fit.
It's bigger than a purse, smaller than a Birkin. You don't know what a Birkin bag is? A tote bag that's made of very fancy materials.
I know they're expensive. I have no idea how big they are.
They're tote bags.
Talk to me in American. How many in hamburgers? What is it in pizza size?
It's like 2 to 3 Trader Joe's
turkey,
shopping bags.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
turkey.
It's a turkey.
The turkey.
Great.
Yeah,
That's
the
actually
turkey.
a helmet is the size of a small to medium turkey.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Let's go to the people. We have a lot of Patreon stuff. Oh God, Shivam has leprosy. Yo, shout out to that username. That is so good. That's a throwback to '07, and I love it. If you had to design a car interior using only your favorite bits from other cars, what parts would you choose? Well, I think we've already decided we'd use the Singer Turbo steering wheel. Mm-hmm. I would use the Ferrari, the 360s shifter, the gated manual.
I would do that gate, but I would also have the exposed rods from the spiker.
Sure.
Don't put your fingers in there.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a fucking meat crusher.
It could be.
The best seats depends if we're trying to go sporty or comfort. What's the best line between sporty and comfort? I mean, there's a lot of good ones.
I mean, Porsche's 18-way have always felt sporty and comfortable.
Yeah.
I don't, but it would depend on what car they're in because, like, my seats in the M3, I actually really like how adjustable they are shape-wise. They hold me in really well, but they sit high.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mechanical shit underneath.
Yeah.
So I don't like that.
I like to sit real low.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they wouldn't fit in every car, but the Bentley GT Speed seats are just
pretty good.
just about as good as it gets. Dashboard gauges, best gauges ever.
If weight doesn't exist, I'd go with the Bentley's triple screen.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
fucking rad.
The triple screen is excellent.
Yeah.
You want to have that's your dash.
That's my dash.
And then what about your cluster? I agree with you on the dashboard. The best cluster, I mean, it's aggressive. It wouldn't work with any car, but like the Pagani, cluster is nuts.
That's nuts.
That Praga,
Oh yeah,
that
Wow.
Praga thing where the orbs spin.
The race car you drove.
Right? Wasn't it Praga? They're coming out with a road car.
Let me see.
Didn't the CEO of that company come on this podcast? It was,
I
right?
think a long time ago, right?
It was like 2 years ago, maybe. Praga cars, wasn't it that? Yeah, it was that thing. I'm pretty sure it was that.
Let's see what the gauges.
The
look
interior. It was there were these like orbs that spin. It was pretty awesome.
Like. Wow.
Keep coming, keep going. Come on, interior. Come on, interior.
Was that Jensen?
That was Roman Grosjean.
Oh, I scrolled quickly. They have a
There's an interior tab right here. Was it this? No, it was not that at all. I must be thinking of something completely different because that is absolutely not it. Shit.
It's just a screen and a.
Oh, man. Now someone's going to be fucking screaming at their phone right now because I missed it. It's, what are the other hypercar companies? It's one of them. It's one of the smaller ones. It's not Koenigsegg. It's not Bugatti. It's not Ramatz. It's not Pininfarina. It's...
I don't know.
I don't know.
You know what gauge I really like Ferrari with the yellow tack. I really like that. It works. I think it would work in a lot of things. Back when they were mechanical, real
big
gauges.
big
center yellow tack. Like I like that color. And then if they had like aluminum around the bezel, that'd be fine.
Yeah, the Ferrari 430 is a good example. That the big yellow tack with the gauge indicator in the middle, flanked by like four important gauges that you need to know.
And you've got your gear indicator,
Yeah,
which I
right
love.
there.
I mean, it's
That's good.
great.
You could that, or maybe like the Porsche 997 or 99. Porsche 991
really good,
gauge
too.
cluster is really good, where you have all the analog gauges, but the one is the screen.
That is one of
That's
the best
pretty good.
functional gauges.
Yeah, that's
true.
pretty good.
Yeah, and it all looks good. Like Aston started? No, never mind. Aston went mechanical, then full screen.
Yeah.
And Aston's mechanicals are cool, but to me, they've always been like gray bezel, gray gauge. It's a little hard
They
to
never
read quickly.
did colors.
They didn't do colors.
Yeah.
That's
Pretty good. The
That's
Ferrari 430, that really hasn't been. I think the 599 took this layout, but also incorporated a screen, but you couldn't do all that much with the screen.
Right.
But yeah, 430, that's everything you need to know right there. That's a good one. Siamese sports cat enthusiast. What gets rolled into the $50K worth of other options like you see on Ferraris and other supercars? And does the actual cost of these individual options ever get disclosed to anyone at all? If Ferrari is shameless enough to itemize 4K for CarPlay, but what won't they itemize? It's all cosmetic shit. It's some special stitching and some special, tinted carbon fiber that's off catalog. It's never anything that's performance related. It's all little cosmetic stuff that, has to be essentially done by hand, and sometimes has a very high failure rate. If it's a specific color or finish of something, they may have to make 3 or 4 of them until one passes QC. So that's where that stuff goes. I'm not saying that there isn't enormous margin built into that kind of stuff. I'm sure there is, but yeah, all of that stuff is cosmetic, craziness. That's a lot of nuts. Says, what's better, breakfast sandwich or breakfast burrito?
Burrito.
I could see a time and place for either. I don't make a blanket statement. I think it depends on the sandwich and it depends on the burrito.
Sure, but if I had the best of the two in front of me, I think I would always lean burrito. I'm from California, but it's usually a larger volume of protein inside. A great breakfast sandwich tends to have like one egg.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I think can I have 4? So
the back in the day in Philly when I was a real fat kid, I would do the bacon, egg, and cheese wedge. You know, you'd go
with a wedge of cheese on
no, like a hero. However you want to call it, a sub hero. You know, it was a bacon, egg, and cheese 12-inch, and it was like 2 to 3 eggs and like a lot of bacon.
That'd be delicious.
Yeah, I think the best breakfast burrito is better than the best breakfast sandwich.
Yes,
the worst breakfast sandwich is better than the worst breakfast burrito. A bad breakfast burrito is really bad, whereas it's pretty tough to make a hideously bad breakfast sandwich.
That's true.
Yeah. A bad tortilla is usually worse than bad bread is what I'm saying.
The first thing your teeth interact with is already a bad start on a cheap breakfast burrito.
Yeah. We've recently learned there's a place here in L.A. called Egg Tuck, and we've learned that they do a Korean breakfast burrito. It's fucking it's
nice.
It's exceptional. Very good. And of course we have Egg Slut is very famous with the brioche, and they're really good. Nobody has done the bacon, egg, and cheese, salt, pepper, ketchup, Kaiser roll like they do it in New York City. No one's done it yet. If they get Newcomb's Ranch going, Good Vibes has a home permanent up there with the restaurant. I have kicked Jay in the teeth a million times, and I say, you will have a New York style bacon, egg, and cheese here, and you will sell so many of them.
They're a sandwich, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Carlo Hanian says, 200K, what are we buying? 991.1 RS, Ferrari 458, or McLaren 600 LT? 458. Easy for me. That's a 3-seconder.
Really?
Yep.
I'm actually surprised you didn't go 991 RS.
991.1s, and they don't do it for me.
You don't like
They
it?
don't do it for me. RSs, they don't do it for me. No, they're too stiff to be road cars. I don't like them.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And I think the McLaren's going to keep breaking and depreciating. So, yeah.
I'm not, and I'm the.
We drove that 458. No, wait. What did we drive in Miami? Oh, 488. Never mind.
That was a 458 Special.
I came away a little disappointed. Not gonna lie. So I was
compared to some of that other stuff.
Yeah,
it was not. But as an everyday or weekend car,
as an everyday car,
458s.
As a fun thing.
Yeah,
RS.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Way bad's rad. I read all these words you wrote, but the last bit is that I bought a mint condition Mini Cooper S for $3,000. With an intent to swap a K-Series engine into it. What other enthusiast cars are overlooked and underpriced now? I was just telling someone that I think 05, 06 JCW Minis are undervalued, and they're expensive to keep running, and they're not reliable.
Yeah.
But God, damn, are they fun to drive, and they look good, and they sound good, and I think we're getting to a point where all of a sudden there's going to be very few left. And they're going to be worth some money.
Yeah,
those are worth hanging on to.
And if you can K-swap more and more stuff, like Art, he just K-swapped his E30. It's
Did
funny,
he really?
Yeah, it's funny seeing people. K-swap is becoming the new LS
for small cars.
And you replace the thing that's unreliable. Yeah. And I don't think like the JCW would be just as fun with a really potent K-swap versus the engine that was in it.
It probably would, yeah, as long as it didn't get the NVH get totally fucked up.
Very, very good point.
Yeah. What else is there anything else that's like? I mean, the internet has made it very hard to overlook things.
Yes.
I mean, I still think shit. I don't know. I mean, we're seeing certainly a market correction this year. So everything is a little more reasonable than it was last year, unless it's like a true unicorn type car.
Underpriced though is hard because, like you said, everyone knows about everything now.
Yeah,
it's hard to find those unturned stones. I would say that newer used like a 2017 Camaro SS which is like, it's not $3,000.
Yeah.
But people aren't really, it doesn't have all the focus of being nostalgic. It's not a Radwood. That's the thing. If it's at Radwood now, it's expensive. So if it's too new for Radwood, it might not have been looked at yet, but it's not brand new. That might be the place to go.
Yeah. I mean, still like great non-M E46s.
Yep, true.
Are
330 CI.
A 330 CI is a fabulous car to drive and use. It looks great, right size, shape, power, good engagement, built really nicely.
Engine's way more reliable than the S54 anyway.
Yeah. Like those, $10,000, $12,000, get you a great one.
Yeah.
Those are awesome. Timmy, used versus used. You can get a Cayman GT4 with PDK for the price of a well-equipped C8 Z06, 100 to 115K. Wow.
Now, he adds, this is important for me, which would you rather have as a street car? Because I would rather feel a C8 Z06 driving around the street because the ride is unbelievable. It is such a good daily car.
Yeah, if you didn't want to drive stick, I would say that I'd rather have the Z06. You have a similar type of experience, mid-engine, paddle shift, sharp steering, a lot more speed, a lot more sound.
Right. It's more comfortable.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be close, though, because the GT4, I think, looks better inside and out. And it's for a canyon or a trackish car, it would be, I think it'd be more fun. Even though the Z06s, the C8s are fucking fast, obviously.
I think the real difference is regular GT4s and Spyders are a lot of fun, but the engine itself doesn't feel that special compared to some other Porsches, mainly like GT3s. Z06, it's pretty fucking special.
Yep.
And it's still so new that it's not going to have a lot of like wear on it, probably.
Yeah.
Right. So you're not getting a 10-year-old car or something. A lot of value.
Z06 for 115.
C8 Z06 for that's all right.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. We've reached new Evora for a Miura, or would you like to have a slightly used Z06?
Yeah. Wow. Maxfield, my wife wants to upgrade from our Mazda CX-5 to something more, quote, MILFY.
He says her words. Which
what is the MILFiest modern car you could think of aside from ultra-luxury brands? I mean, there's some real obvious ones. Like you got your Mercedes crossovers, right? Your GLEs. Range Rovers, right? A Range Rover Sport is going to be one.
Trying to think of
Broncos.
I think a cooler car is a more MILFy car. Like
okay.
A Bronco has more
Bronco.
Bronco. I mean, the number of, and granted this is Los Angeles, but you see plenty of women driving Audi, Mercedes, Lexus, midsize or large crossovers as they make more money. They get a bigger crossover SUV. I don't find that to be interesting, and if we're going with MILFy, then if I'm going to be interested. But like Bronco has more attitude. A sports car or a cool sedan of any kind. There was a woman who used to drive around Santa Monica in like an Alpina B7 with her dog in the back seat. I was like, I don't know who that person is, but they are cool. Yeah. So something like that.
Well, again, look, in the scale of, the rating of women, right? Is it a 10, a 9? Are they a 7 or whatever, right? In that scale, it's well known that a cool enthusiast car gives any women a plus 1.5.
Sure.
So this is a universal thing. So
it increases the odds that you would like to.
Right.
Because that's mother I would like to.
So something that would make her more MILFy to get that 1.5 is basically a car that men like. That's the answer to that. Is an enthusiast car. What she would actually want to drive is not part of MILFiness. MILFiness is something that men will want to talk to her about and feel comfortable talking to her about because they know about it.
But that's how you start the conversation.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Leads to the F part of the the MILF part.
Yeah, exactly.
The fraternization, is that what that stands for?
Yeah,
I think?
Exactly.
You want to fraternize?
So that'll get you MILFy. Yeah. Grilled Tail of the Dragon is moving from Miami to upstate New York for work next week. Dailying a GT500, but needs a second vehicle for the weather, leaning on a Bronco Raptor. Thoughts on an ideal 2-car garage for New York, and I already have the fast car. Budget $80K.
It's a very fun 2-car garage.
It is, but like
We're a Ford family.
if you are going to never leave the tarmac, which I mean, it does snow up there, but you certainly don't need a Raptor to get to work in the snow.
No, and the wide tires will actually be
might be
worse
worse.
than a narrower, appropriate winter tire.
Right. So that's the Bronco Raptors are fun but dumb.
Yeah.
If you're just going to drive them on the street, like all Raptors.
They're very fucking wide.
Yeah.
Like, you're in New York.
Yeah.
Like, upstate, all right, fine.
Not Manhattan, but yeah.
parking, I mean, they're really fucking wide.
They are.
So
Yeah.
I would go with something that is a narrow body lifted vehicle.
I would say, I mean, I do like that the all, Ford SVT garage. That's fun. I get it. I would consider, now, hear me out, a Mach-E rally.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing a huge amount of miles, like the Mach-E rally gets a legit 240 miles of range. I drove it in upstate New York for Performance EV of the Year. The ride is beautiful. It looks cool. The torque vectoring is great. You're in line with your cool Ford garage. Upstate New York, I'm going to assume you have a single-family home.
That'd be a great
in
car.
which you could have a charger. That's what I would do. But if you don't want that, $80K?
$80K is a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
You can
You're in
get a
Macon
lot.
land, Macon S.
That would be nice.
That would be very
That'd
nice.
be very nice. Mm-hmm. And that'd be great in the snow. It's upscale, looks, and it drives well as a car. It drives well as a trucklet.
Yeah.
How many inches narrower do you think a Bronco Raptor is than a Hummer H1, Matt Farah?
3.
And this is without mirrors.
3 inches narrower for the Raptor than the Hummer H1.
Point 8. Wow. It is less than 1 inch
It's so wide.
narrower.
Yeah.
It's all hips.
There's one in my neighborhood. It looks funny in real life.
Really
it looks
funny, especially with the fenders. I've seen them with the fenders painted body color.
Yeah.
That is 100% the way to go.
It is, yeah. I've seen gray and black with body color,
Yeah.
and it does look good.
I saw one that was like a mint green. It was really
yeah.
rad.
When
But
I
back
lived
to
in-
the task at hand.
Yeah. When I lived in Venice, a 2-car garage turned into a 1-car garage. Like you literally,
forgot.
It was crazy. Yeah. Oh my God, there's so many
many
words in Misfit Cyclones questions. Fortunately, Zach has gone through the trouble of highlighting the important part. How would you go about buying your car bucket list? Would you start with what's more desirable to yourself, more affordable, or hardest to acquire? And how long would you hold on to cars on that list? And this person has laid out a list of like a dozen cars that they want to buy, ranging from very cheap old Volkswagen GTIs all the way through your standard issue collector cars up to Diablos and high-end
McLaren
GT
F1s.
cars and McLaren F1s. No, it says mentions McLaren F1 but can't reach it. I mean, there's a couple philosophies. One is you only live once and you could drop dead tomorrow. So if you have a dream car and you can afford it, buy that. And then if you don't like it, sell it and buy something else on your list, right? Like my dream car was a DeLorean and I bought it and it didn't ultimately live up to the dream and I sold it and moved on. So you could do that. You could find versions of the cheaper cars on the list and see where you could personally add value to them. Could you do a paint correction? Could you repair some things, service some things? What could you do to add value and work your way over time up to the highest, end thing? Start with what's more desirable to yourself, more affordable or hardest to acquire. I mean, it also depends on what is your level of self-control. If you don't think you're someone who's got a lot of self-control, then forcing yourself to not buy anything until you've saved $300,000 post-tax is I suppose a goal, but like I'm not sure what car would live up to that goal. I think you're better off like building a collection or starting a cycle of rotating through cars that hopefully you get your money back out of, and you can eventually roll that money along with savings into higher end cars, which is what most people do. Start with what you can afford today. Don't take on loans. Don't do that shit. You know, what can you buy today? Can you buy anything on your list today? Start with that. Can you take care of it? Can you maybe add some value to it? Like maybe you buy a car, like I bought my Porsche for the Safari car off of like Craigslist. And like the photos were shitty and it was on Craigslist, not fucking Bring a Trailer. And so the fact that nobody wanted it because the photos were real shitty and I had planned to paint it anyway led me to a car that I bought for what was really probably underpriced by 15 to 20 grand. And so I was able to find value in an unknown place, right? So maybe you could find value. Like, do what you can now and work your way to that later. I don't think saving for a Diablo from zero is a great – because you're going to get experience with cars. And you may not want that by the time you get rich enough to have it. Right?
I agree. Totally agree.
Yeah. I mean, if what's most desirable to you is reasonably affordable, then start with that. Otherwise, start with affordable and work your way to the other ones. Okay, Clapman's freshman dorm bed. Bringing my vintage camera to a Cars and Coffee last weekend got me invited to shoot for some car shows, including a small concours on the East Coast. Very nicely done. Advice for a hobby photographer doing unpaid but serious work for the first time. Well, those two terms are not compatible. Unpaid and serious are not compatible. Nevertheless, I would have a contract. Even if it's a very basic one that when you print it out is one page and looks kind of stupid, and it will say, you know, these are the two parties, this is what is expected as a deliverable, and this is what is being exchanged for that deliverable, even if it's just social media promotion or something else. Something on paper saying, I work here.
That's a good point, because also what you want first, I think this is a very good opportunity for you. The number of people we know that are pros in this business now that started out filming car shows or friends' cars or taking photos, like that's how everyone gets their start. Great. But what you want to do is limit how much this entity can ask of you. So if those listing deliverables, I think is a great idea, because you're excited right now and you're willing to do this for no money, and that's cool for experience. But that might lead to you agreeing to do Photoshop on 5 of the photos. And they go, wow, these are great. Can you do these on the other 100? And you might say yes, not realizing that's going to take 40 hours of your time over the next 6 weeks. So just don't get yourself painted into that kind of corner.
Yeah. I mean, even if you're not being paid, your time is still worth something. Mm-hmm. And so, if you give them an inch, which is, I'll work for you for the day and deliver 50 images, give them an inch, don't let them take a mile.
Yep.
DWBF11. Can we work on your username, please? Come up with something. Just bought a car I've been chasing for the better part of a decade, sight unseen in Southern California. Do either of you have a favorite story of chasing or buying a car you've always wanted to own? I've never wanted to own a specific chassis number. You know what I mean? It's not like I want to find my dad's GTO that he had in college.
Well, you did want to find that, but
I mean, like for like 5 seconds.
But Countach, you just wanted a Countach. You didn't need.
I didn't even want a Countach. A Countach that I already knew about came up for sale, and I thought that was a great opportunity to buy it because I knew about it and loved it, and the price was right. I talked to people like Tamarian. You see on Tamarian's like Instagram,
chase.
I've been chasing this car. Like I've never done that.
Like this is the only brown Diablo or whatever. Yeah. He always knows he knows the car's story from when it began.
Sure.
And then he's trying to find that.
Right.
That probably happens more with exclusive cars too, because they're unique.
Yeah, you talk to a dealer or a curator or whoever, an enthusiast to whom the historical provenance of a car is paramount. That's where those kind of buys and seeking out. We talked to Wayne Carini or Tamarian or Simon Kidston or any of those guys, the Concours crowd. And that kind of stuff really matters. For people like you and me, I cared about having an R32 Skyline.
Right.
It wasn't that it was, I saw this, I want the one I saw in Best Motoring. Well, I want that one, you know? So it hasn't happened to me. Maybe one day I'll be rich and fancy enough to do that.
Yeah, I think the example for you would be when you've driven people's cars and you go, if you ever want to sell this, tell me.
Yeah. I guess the what do you call it? That Honda with the motorcycle engine.
Mm-hmm.
If that ever comes back around, I suppose that would be one. Yeah. Also, they wanted to give a shout out to WCCS, who provided a quote for towing, storage, and shipping logistics to get your car to Detroit. Oh, no problem. Happy to help. This is not Doug DeMuro's burner account. That's pretty funny. If you want a decent stick shift experience, do you think that experience can be found in an 80s era import truck? My 1987 Mazda B2200 has a surprisingly good clutch and shifter feel. I mean, if you were trying to like learn stick,
sure,
like then it's probably a decent place to find value in a beater to learn stick.
Trucks are like, I'm laughing at this question because trucks are funny. Like the shifter is always very long because of the seating position. So you have this really long lever. There's a lot of motion at the shifter knob itself. But I am remembering that most of them had very positive shifting engagement. It's like industrial in that way.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to put a lot of money into softened bushings like a BMW shifter is going to be. They don't need to take out that NVH. It's a fucking truck. So that actually really helps you learn where shift gates are because you feel that each time it locks in.
They don't damp it out, but you also have a very long lever, so you have tons of leverage. So it's good feel, but not lots of weight, right?
Yeah.
Look, I don't think driving stick in trucks is fun. That's not my idea of a good time. So I wouldn't buy a truck for its shifter feel.
Right.
I recognize that other people feel differently, but yeah. Okay, Matt Walker. This is an interesting one. Stolen from the Chris Harris podcast. Fair enough. You have 24 hours to convince a non-car enthusiast to enjoy cars. You choose any car in any road or activity in the world. What do you choose? I mean, there's a lot of options.
I think
24 hours is a long time. I could get someone doing a whole bunch of different activities in a car in 24 hours.
I think I would go with something like almost like the Keen Safari car or maybe the Morgan Safari car. I mean, I thought about this ahead of time because I did read all these questions. Because my thought was like, I don't want to take someone drifting or going fast because that could scare someone who's not into cars might actually get scared.
Yeah.
But I think everyone likes a little bit of travel-y adventure. So you could take someone like a safari car is comfortable enough to take someone on the highway and show them like, you know, a landscape they haven't seen. Then you could go up a dirt road for a little bit, get a little slidey at low speed, and take them to another place that they can't access by hiking in one day. But I'd want a car that is friendly enough looking where people wave, because then it would introduce them to the community side of it and the adventure side of it, and these can take you places and give you a little excitement. That would be my goal.
Sure. I would take. It would require a variety of cars. You wouldn't want to do it with just one car, but I would take a person to. It would be the 24 hours between noon on Friday and noon on Saturday of Car Week in Monterey. And I would start noon on Friday at the Quail, afternoon of the Quail, doing all that. And then in the evening, there would be a drive in the mountains. The following morning, maybe down to Big Sur with some other cars for breakfast. And then I think maybe the Thursday and Friday, or Friday and Saturday. Or then either the Thursday and Friday, and you'd have the Tour de Elegance on Thursday, followed by the Quail, or the Quail followed by Monterey Historics. I think you could get someone to be pretty into cars that way.
I think that's a good idea too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terry King says, question for Zach about the E46. Any reason other than aesthetics you went with amber front signals on the front versus clears on the rear?
It had ambers when I bought it, and I like them. It's just aesthetics. I think the clear corners look weird, and I would change the rears to amber LEDs if I could find them.
Maybe.
Oh, I did this.
Zach did. Wierenfeld Jr. Zach has done that already. Okay. Jason Fenske's last black hair. Of the two, which car was more influential to car design and culture? The Miura being the first mid-engine supercar, or the Countach being the inspiration for most future supercars? I think the Countach is more culturally significant. I don't think they ever really made any other cars that looked or had the orientation of the Miura. I mean, not successful ones. You've got the Chiseda with a transverse engine. You've got the Vector with a transverse engine. Like, these aren't good cars.
But would the Countach exist if the Miura hadn't?
No.
Because the Miura said, let's make a mid-engine supercar, and then someone later was like, we should turn the engine.
Yeah.
So in that way, I think that the Miura may be more significant because it opened the door for everything that followed.
Sure. I mean, yeah, I think determining which was more influential may be kind of by what metric exactly.
True.
There's definitely more cars that look like the Countach than look like the Miura. That's one metric, right? But like, you know what I mean? Like, if you took the layout and general aesthetic of the Miura, there's not a lot of cars that look like that.
Well, I could say that the 296 came from that, or I mean, any of the mid-engine Ferraris followed that. Well, 328, 308, those were very angular, like Countach
Those are
style,
angular, yeah.
But then everything got round again.
Yeah.
So I think there's design eras, and then there's influencing the construction of vehicles, and I think those are two different things. And art is always going to change, so the influences are always going to change.
Yeah. Christian says, going to M1 Concourse in Michigan for extreme experience. It's like a track day thing. How does this track measure up to other USA tracks? I think it's a small club track. Can you pull up a Google Earth of it? I think it's a small club track, and I think it resembles, like, Thermal Club is a club track that has 3 tracks, and I think M1 only has 1. I think M1 is more like the Concourse Club in Miami. Yeah, bless you. Yeah, this looks, M1 Concourse in Michigan looks like the Concourse Club in Miami. This is a small club track. The layout, the configuration looks okay. Doesn't look very long. It looks like it's maybe 1.2 or something. Just, I'm looking at an aerial view here. Does it say there? Right. Go back to that and zoom in on that image. It says, I think, 1 point something mile track at the top there. 1.2. I mean, it's 1.5 mile track. Okay, so just for comparison, let's see. The other club tracks are about 1.5. Lime Rock, which is I would say is slightly bigger than a club track, is like 1.8. Willow Springs, Big Willow is I think 2.1, maybe 2.2, and then like Road America, Watkins Glen, Road Atlanta, those are all in the 3s. So that's how it compares in size. It's pretty small, but it's bigger than if you went to like Dream Racing or Speed Vegas in Vegas. Those are both like 0.8. So it's bigger than that. Looks all right, though. You'll have a good time. GT4 RS.
You'll have a lot of fun.
You'll have a good time. He didn't indicate in the question if it was a track day, like if it was if he's experiencing a GT4 RS or if that's a track day company and he's bringing his own GT4 RS. But nevertheless.
I think reading that it says for extreme experience.
I think that's like a taste. Yeah, it's like a taste.
I think you'll have a lot of fun.
You'll have a lot of fun.
Even if you've done a lot of track driving, you'll have fun in the car and just work on your cornering and improving stuff, and you'll still have fun. Yeah,
it looks nice but small. Goodwood revives me. That's a good one. Considering swapping my 911's 14-way seats for Recaro or Sparco. Neither has a local dealer where I can sit in one. I've reached out to both to see if I can just buy 2-3 models and test them in my house and return them. Any other ideas? I mean, make a trip to somewhere that has them. I don't.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That I don't know. I've never bought aftermarket seats. Like I don't know if you can sit in them once and or if you need to sit in them for like a day, like get like shoes and then return them. I have no idea.
I've bought seats 3 times, and every single time I have sat in them first. And I just, if they'll let you buy them and return them, that's your. It's annoying, but that's your best move. Like. You shouldn't spend that kind of money on seats if you're not going to fit in them.
Definitely not. Maybe you can find a retailer that has, I don't know, Recaro and Sparco.
I mean, honestly, it sounds like a great excuse for a road trip in your 911 to go somewhere that.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe can you get on the forums and ask like if anyone else has these seats in their car, and if so, can you just come sit in them?
It's a good idea.
I mean, you know, something like that. Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like an excuse for a road trip, if you ask me, buddy. I don't have an answer for you, but I certainly would not buy a pair of seats without trying.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah.
These are the last.
Okay, we have 5. Okay. Ooh, last one first. Keel and toe. If Sopranos were coming out today, what cars would Tony, Christopher, and Paulie drive? I don't know if I would see a real difference with Tony. I think Tony would still drive an Escalade. He went from a Suburban to an Escalade. Long one, Escalade Suburban.
Do you think he'd go Escalade V for any reason, or would that draw too much
attention?
attention?
It's too much heat. It's too much heat. It's loud. I think he would keep it tight. He might even go diesel. Keep it real light.
Electric?
No, he doesn't do that fucking liberal bullshit. No, none of that. Plus, it's the problem with Tony is connected cars.
Yeah.
Tony might not be able to buy. He had remember he said he had that GPS shit taken out.
Right. He might keep the Escalade he has.
Yeah.
He's like, no, the new one's
he needs an off-grid car. Christopher always buys the most expensive car he can afford. So current trajectory, he's driving Range Rovers if he survived. I mean, if it came out and he was growing through this, Christopher starts in like a Lexus LS400, and then he gets a Range Rover. He gets
you think he'd
carjacked and has a Cadillac at some point. He'd probably be. I think Bentley's too flashy.
Okay.
He ends up buying Johnny Sack's Maserati when Johnny Sack goes to jail.
He could get a
Levante. He would be driving a Levante. Yeah. Paulie, he drives an Eldorado coupe. He's from the 90s. So this would be, I can't picture Paulie in like a crossover.
No, definitely
What
not.
the fuck would Paulie be driving?
It
Probably
would
like
be a funny plot point, though, because like they're getting old.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, it's easier to get into.
It would be like a BMW 6 Series, maybe.
Yeah.
Nah, but he's too fucking Goomba for that. Like, what do old Americans buy now? Shit, I don't even know.
Lexus.
Lexuses, maybe.
Yeah.
Probably being a Lexus LS. That's a weird
Not an
one.
ES.
Maybe
Probably
like a
not.
Buick? No, because
No.
a crossover? Like Charger? No.
No, that's for the young.
It's got to be a Lexus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it couldn't be anything else. Good question. Okay, Tunehound, and we're going to need a photo of this. Am I the only one that finds the design of Fuchs wheels slightly anti-Semitic?
I don't.
Is there a swastika somewhere in a Fuchs wheel?
It's not. I don't know. Like I don't see the
I
Iron
don't see
Cross.
I don't see an iron cross. I don't see a swastika. I don't see anything that I identify as anti-Semitic on a Fuchs wheel. That is a strange criticism. I don't see it.
Tunehound, explain yourself later.
Sorry, buddy. I
Reply
don't
to your
see
own
it.
comment. I'm just curious what
I don't
you
see
think
it.
of Tune.
Yeah. I mean, unless he just like saw like Kanye's Cayenne and there's just like swastikas on a set of Fuchs wheels.
There was that video going around a few months ago. Like someone did a mountain shot at a Porsche wheel, and as it spun up to like 40 miles per hour, like the emblem started to look like a swastika. But I
really?
couldn't figure out if it was like real, because then the person who posted it, they were like, "Hey Porsche, give me a new 992 GT3 and I'll take this video down." Like, all right, so did you make this? And like, one, ransoming that company's not a great idea. So I wasn't sure like if that was a real thing or if they made it. I don't know.
Nice Cams says, what were my thoughts on Watches and Wonders, and did I have a favorite piece? Didn't see any of it. I met a really interesting place in my watch collecting right now where I basically don't want anything. I have a lot of watches, the ones that we're designing with Notice, the green one that I'm wearing today, the black mother of pearl I was wearing last week. Those are coming out. Between that and what I've got, I've not been paying attention to the new watch releases. So I'm sorry I didn't look.
Have you ever heard of Clements Design? They're Clements Design Studio. They do, where is this thing? It's a watchmaker based in New York, like all handmade, kind of Weissy looking. I was just curious if you'd heard of him.
No, I never heard of him. I saw Cameron though. He borrowed the Delica to go to the Alabama hills for a bicycle race. Went on a little road trip in the Delica. He had a real good time. Delica got some exercise.
This is
what is this?
I was wondering why it's clean.
Clement Design Studios. I do not know this person.
All right.
Wait, go scroll up real quick. A watchmaker designing building timepieces. Okay. I don't know. Go to the actual website. I've never seen these watches before. In Brooklyn. I wonder if they're. They're showing the milling of a case. Okay, scroll. Is there any enter?
Enter.
Let's see what they're about. Nice looking. Let's click.
Process?
I don't know. What are they selling? How about Paris Toulouse GMT? Are they actually selling this? Okay, hang on. It's it's a Salida movement. Okay, so this is these guys are using Salida movements and they're designing a case and a dial. Okay, not bad.
Okay.
Not bad. Don't know much about him. Cameron has a new movement he's working on. I'm very excited.
Cool.
Beneteau driver moving to China, where I can get a 2023 Audi e-tron SUV with less than 10K miles for $25,000. Is it the steal of the decade at that price? I'm sure it is, unless it goes to zero.
That's a pretty good deal.
That is a pretty good deal.
2-year-old.
2 years old, $25,000. I mean, that sounds great to me. I wonder what the catch is. I'm sure there's one somewhere.
How long is the warranty? And how easy is it to service there?
Yeah. I mean, they have a dealer network there.
I'm sure they do. Yeah. I don't know. China's big. Depends on where they live. All the same questions I would ask if they lived here. Like, what's the warranty on this car? How long, is the warranty? How long is left on it, etc.
The reason I think it's so cheap is because the new Chinese EVs are so good that one that's 2 years old from a legacy automaker, it was probably designed 5 years ago. That shit is old in China.
True, good point.
And so, I mean, here's the thing. You might consider what 25 or 30 grand gets you in Chinese car. You might have a very interesting experience and get a better car.
Yeah.
So, like an Audi e-tron is like a nice Audi, but it's not a great EV.
Very true. It's far below Taycan, Tesla in some regards.
And like China has like level 3 autonomy and stuff. Like you might be able to get that in the cars that you're getting over there, and you probably can't get it in an Audi. Mm-hmm. I would consider why that thing is so cheap.
Good point.
Yeah. If that, buy it and fucking export it to America, Okay, last one. Eric says, I'm currently importing a Toyota Celsior. That's the JDM version of the Lexus LS to match my Supra and Land Cruiser. All three are 93s, black, and right-hand drive. If you had to pick a 3-car solution for a sports car, luxury sedan, and 4x4 from the same year and brand, what would it be? I mean, the problem is so few companies make a sports car, an SUV, and a
truck.
And a
Right. Like BMW doesn't make a pickup truck.
Right.
Just for example, Mercedes.
Well, BMW, you'd have to be X5, right? X5. You could say I could have an M.
Or SUV. Okay, that's true.
Yeah. So like, I'd probably have a Bentley. Yeah. Hey, same, right? Oh no! How about this? How about this?
Are we going from 93, or are we just picking any year?
It has to be the
anytime?
same year is the problem. Yeah.
But from the same year as this, or all the cars have to be the same year?
No, they all have to be the same year as each other.
Right. I'm saying, should we pick from 93? Or
no,
okay.
93 really limits your SUVs.
This is tough. Ford doesn't make like a great luxury product.
Yeah.
Because I like
but you could
trucks and sports cars.
There's so few companies that were doing this at the same time. Like I could have Dude, how about this? I got one. I would do an '05 Acura NSX, MDX, and TL.
That's a good one.
And yeah.
The TL's nice.
The TL
That is
from
a really
05,
good
the
car.
first gen MDX was really nice.
Yeah,
And the NSX was really nice. That's a good one.
that is.
You could also do.
Okay, I think I'd go more modern, and I would stay with Toyota, but I'd go a new Supra, Supra GR, and then a loaded Camry, which is a pretty nice thing to drive around. It's basically Lexus, and then Land Cruiser.
All right, how about this? 2025 911 ST, Panamera Turbo S E Hybrid, and Cayenne GTS.
Right. Also, yeah. I was trying to avoid Porsche because it's such an easy.
It's such
answer.
an obvious one.
When you say sports car and luxury sedan, that's
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. What an excellent bit of podcasting we've done there. Really appreciate our patrons for asking such good questions and supporting the show. Do we have anything else we need to report about today, Zachary?
No.
Great.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we can leave with a clean soul and empty brains. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you later. Bye.